Hey everyone, welcome back to another locals video in set 10. Keeping it quick, if you guys want to support me and you like the playmat that I'm using in this video, you can check out Nengard and use coupon code StrawHatPecan for 5% off on top of their spring sale, which is going on right now. Having a lot of deals on the playmats. I'm using the Whole Cake Island one. I've had the Shanks one in the past. I've got Gundam, Don, a lot of different stuff. Also, I've got a TCG player affiliate link in the description. If you're going to be buying any cards for the game, using my link just helps support me. Let's get into this. All right, we've got Bonney in set 10. Obviously, a very strong deck. A lot of people have been talking about. I've been playing Bonney since set 7. I've liked the deck. I like green. I like the Supernova cards. Right? It feels very fun playing out big boss monsters while also being able to manage and combo a little bit with your Don. We got a lot of support in set 10. Smoker, Tashigi, all that good stuff. I have an online regional coming up, and I'm debating about playing Bonney. It is a pretty good choice, but we'll get into this. This first match is against Red Sanji. We got first off the dice roll, feeling pretty good. I made a lot of changes to the list. Well, a few changes, but it's pretty big in its own way. We'll get into the deck list and everything at the end, but we're going just one Don Searcher. Pretty good start, right? Getting a 2K, a blocker, Cavendish in our starting hand. Really nice. He's playing the 1-cost Nami and picking up the Dawa Jambe, that is a flex. Bringing that down, turn 1 off a search, right? Letting us know we got it. See the Arouge there. That is one of the pickups that I added to the deck. And that is the very unfortunate search. 2-carat, Smoker, Tashigi, and a 10-drop, all at the bottom of our deck. Really unfortunate. We go 6 at lead, leave 1 open, and yeah, just going -1 in hand size essentially, right? Because we played out that searcher and didn't get anything back from it. Luckily though, it is the searchers that have to rest themselves, so it does kind of act as a blocker, right? He's going to have to swing into it, although he's going to swing into it with most likely, like he could have swung it with a Nami or something, but we do have our Don open for leader ability, so we can rest one of his leader if he does that. But being that Sanji can give rush to anything he plays out, right? It does allow him to kind of get past that leader ability a little bit, you know, while still being able to get out multiple swings a turn. So he goes 5 at our searcher, and we rest that Nami. And then I'm wondering what 3 costs he's going to play out. He plays out Baccarat, which it's just a bit of unfortunate. He didn't have many 3 costs to play out. Obviously, a really good one in the deck is the 3-cost Zora that like Don ×1 gets plus 1k power. So that would have been a rush 7k at us. We go 5 for Cavendish, restand 2 Don, and then we go 6 at Baccarat. Hoping to keep his board just manageable. We know he has the Jambe, so I want to limit the swings, right? And in doing so, we're kind of looking for the kid. We didn't see it in our first search. We have 4 more life to take to possibly get it. He uses Baccarat's effect and counters out, which fair enough, because against Bonney, you need a wide board. Even though Baccarat's just a blocker, a 4k body, it can swing, as you just saw last turn. And we know he has a Jambe, right? So his game plan is just burn us down to 0 life, Jambe for the win. As long as we don't have an 8-cost kid, you know, very strong plan. But, you know, we have a lot of blockers in our hand, so hopefully we can survive. Passing back to him. We'll see on his 7 Don turn what comes out to hit us. Most likely a pretty big swing. He goes 5 at life. We rest the Baccarat. And then I am going to counter out this 5. Or no, I should have countered out the 5. I don't know why I didn't. I think I was looking for the kid. He goes 8 and we take. Yeah, really should have counted out that 5. That was my mistake to make, because we know he has the Jambe. That's in the back of my mind. But I'm like, I have so many blockers. There's no way he's got 3 turns worth of unblockable, right? So we play out a Rouge, restand 2 by swinging with Cavendish. So we're going 6 into Baccarat. And my plan is just to play out a bunch of blockers, hope that he doesn't have more unblockable besides that 1 Jambe that we saw him pick up, right? So we have 5 Don left. We go 6 at life. And remember, we have a Rouge, so we have our Don standing back up at the end of the turn. And we play out 2 Rosinantes. We restand 1 with our Rouge. So a lot of blockers. As long as I can find our 8-drop kid, we will never lose. Like, it would be insane. We have 6 cards in the hand, a couple of 2Ks, even more blockers, right? And 10 drops. So my goal is just need to survive, obviously. We're hitting him pretty hard with our 5s and 6s, right? He's already down to like 3 life. And at the end of the day, a Rouge is a card that can swing. So I added back in the Rouge because of a bit of aggro, right? It's a blocker, it can swing, and against things like Zoro, it's something that I can use to swing into their little 4K bodies, right? He goes 8 unblockable with that Sanji 2K counter from the starter deck. And we go 2 2Ks because I'm like, okay, never mind. My strategy of hoping that he doesn't have 3 turns of unblockable is over. The fact that he played out that 2K to give unblockable to Frankie means that he most definitely has enough to hit 3 hits of unblockable, right? So he attaches 6 or enough, like 4 Don right to the Nami and goes 6 unblockable. So I know he has a Jambe. The fact that he's hitting us so many unblockables, I'm like, he's got to have at least like 2 more, right? So the lucky thing is we got a 0 cost event. We put out another Rouge just because I'm hoping to get an 8-drop kit sometime. We go, I think 11 here at the Frankie, which is just an 8K vanilla, I think. So, and then we restand 2. We go 7 at Nami. I could have swung the 1 Rouge at Nami and then at life, but I didn't want to give him more cards right now because if he has even more rush or unblockable, I could be in trouble. But we have 4 blockers open. I'm just hoping that at one point he would go for my Cavendish because you can use the 2-cost Rosinante to protect it in that example, right? Even if he uses unblockable to swing at Cavendish, obviously we could use Cavendish's or Rosinante's ability to trash itself instead of our rested green character. But the fact is we have a decent amount of counter. We have 1 life. If he has 2 unblockables here, it is scary, but he only has a 3K power Sanji on board to split with unless he plays out like the rush unblockable Luffy, right? He could do that, but even then that would be a lot of Don to commit, you know, 5 Don for the Luffy, 1 Don for the Jambe for his leader, and then you have to attach 2 Don to the Luffy, right? I think so. So I think he's going. So he has 5 Don left and going unblockable. We get 1K counter with that carrot, which is nice. And we just 5 Don left. We'll see what we got. We know that was his Jambe, right? So I'm thinking he has another unblockable if he used the Jambe this turn, right? Instead of just trying to split and get rid of some of my blockers. So we go 7 not unblockable, and we just block out. Again, getting an 8-drop kid would literally make this board state so good for us, right? We have a decent amount of counter. We have 3 blockers on the board. We just play out the 10-drop Dofi. We go 6 at life, restand 2. He takes. We go 5 at life. And I'm debating swinging again, but again, I don't want to risk giving him more cards, right? If he goes unblockable Luffy, I think that'll probably get him there, right? I don't know. Or no, I think that, what is that, an 11K swing? I don't know. Yeah, 11K power. I think we can get out of that. I think we have up to 13K, right? We can counter out of a 12 is our number, I believe. Because we can 0 cost 1, go up to 8, plus the 2 to 10, and then 3 1Ks after that, so we can get 13. And you'll see here that's kind of what needs to happen, because now he's on a timer. He's got that Jambe, right? And then attaches 9. So that's a 12k swing. And that is just enough to get out with our whole hand. And we go, you know, but for the fist bump, but, you know, we still gonna play it out. You know, he has, I think, like 3 cards in hand, but we have a lot of swings. We have a big body. If I really wanted to play it safe, I probably could have honestly searched with the searcher Bonney, maybe to pick something up, and, you know, I don't know. But we're just swinging. And then, yeah, GG. Holy, what a close game, man. That was like 4 or 5, was it 4 swings of unblockable, I think, and all that? It was kind of crazy. I think he said he runs like 2 Jambes in the deck, saw both of them, had 2 of the Sanji 2Ks that give him blockable. Against a board with like 4 blockers, that's pretty good. So what a close game. GG to round 1. But shout out to our round 2 against Shanks. Honestly, in my opinion, a pretty rough matchup for Bonney, but it all depends. It's not impossible, and you know, there's definitely things we can look for in the matchup to help us. TCG, the 2K counter, being very important against control lists of Shanks, right? There's a couple of prevalent lists, some aggro, some more control. All depends. I think against the aggro list, we have a lot better chance, right, with Carrot and just our leader ability helping us. So he swings into our searcher, plays out Lucky Roo. We go 6 of life, because I'm not going to play out the Cavendish right now, because that would just get popped by Lucky Roo, right? He KOs a 6k power original character with 6k power. So if I want to swing and actually have anything connect this turn, I have to swing 6k, right? Because Shanks is the leader ability. But if I play out Cavendish, he just blocks for free, and then my Cavendish is gone. So I swing 6, play out a Rouge. That is another use case of a Rouge. It's pretty decent. Other than that, you know, Bartolomeo or another blocker would have been nice here, but a Rouge is also good because it is a swing. He plays out another Lucky Roo. And we go 6 at life. And he blocks and pops our Rouge. We play out Carrot to keep that Lucky Roo rested. Again, unfortunately, we don't have our Tashigi, which really helps. I think I like the 9-cost Shanks that KO's rested for this matchup. Obviously, getting rid of their big bodies. But he goes 5 of life, we give 1. He plays Beckman, gets rid of our Carrot, right? Again, Tashigi would have been great in a situation like this, because we didn't need to keep that Lucky Roo rested. If there's only 2 things on the board, right, we could either rest him when the leader swings, you know? But yeah, I like the 9-cost Shanks for this matchup. It's a great card to pick for it. But the Tashigi feels like something I need a mulligan for just as much, honestly, because playing out any of our 5 costs, which is our bread and butter for the most part, right? The 5 costs in Bonney are super good right now. So protecting them is just very crucial, and playing them out just to lose them immediately never feels good. So we go 7 of life, he takes. We Cavendish. And then we play 3 for Bartolomeo. Again, would have loved to have that Tashigi there to play out instead, but Bardo will be good if he survives, and we could have maybe Hody next turn. You go 7 life, we take, we rest the Lucky Roo because we need to. Can't leave it standing, or else he can block and get rid of our Cavendish. But good for him, he can just use something else to get rid of our Cavendish, which I believe he does here. Hopefully not, but you know, he goes 6 and we take. And then, yep, Rayleigh pops the Cavendish. Bartolomeo's minus 2k for the turn. Not that we're going to swing, but yeah. After playing against Shanks a lot on Bonney, again, it feels like if they have the control and they see their pieces, losing your board has always been rough for Bonney, right? So we just play 10 drop and pass, just hoping that the 10 drop sticks because it is a big body that can definitely help us go for game. We got it down to 3 life. So we have 2 2Ks, and then he plays out the KO Shanks. And then we get Tashigi so late in the game. It is a little unfortunate, right? We can play out the Tashigi now, but honestly, we kind of need the counter in our hand. I apologize for all the shuffling. I was doing a lot of thinking, and my hand, like, I'm always shaking my leg or tapping my foot or moving my hands or something like that. Apologies if it's distracting. We opt to go for the 2 5-cost play, right? Establishing the Cavendish and the Smoker. We could play out Tashigi now to protect our board, right? And that'd be decent because then it kind of forces him to swing into the Tashigi if it gets rested to save our board. And then we can also block out with Bardo. That probably would have been a better plan, honestly. But then having 4 big swings, well, 3 big swings and then leader, wouldn't feel great. He swings and we block out. You go 7, and I probably should have countered out 2 and 1 there, I'll be honest. But he goes 7 again, and we counter out then, so, you know, is what it is. Another Rayleigh coming down, so yeah, it's kind of over at this point. There's nothing really, because also now our Smoker is 5k. So we could have maybe gone for game. If Cavendish lived and Smoker wasn't, you know, minus for the turn, it would have been a great time to Hody. We just play Shanks, pop, and resend a Dawn, go 5 banish, and then we go 6 of life. You know, he takes, but it is GG. We have 2 bricks and 1k. Goes 8 and we take, and then yeah, another brick. But you know, there was nothing really to do there. Yeah, unfortunate. Definitely could have played it better. I do think that the control Shanks is a bit harder of a matchup compared to some of the more aggro builds I see. But again, pieces to look for, definitely being the Tashigi 2k counter. It's unfortunate that it's not searchable, right? But definitely something to mulligan for. But shout out to our 3rd round against Purple Luffy. I do feel like this matchup isn't incredibly hard for us. Well, not incredibly hard, but like incredibly unwinnable or like too difficult, I would say. Like we have tools and options against this deck. They play a lot of 7 costs and lower, so obviously Carrot is very good. But if they go wide enough, they get 2 Luffy Taros out, it can be pretty rough. But we draw our Zoro, you see, and I saw that Zoro, and honestly, and that is Bartolomeo, gonna take that. Unfortunately, you know, bottom deck and a Hody and all that stuff. We go 6 of life. But yeah, Zoro, I'm looking at that, and I think that is my win condition in this matchup because I don't believe that he runs too much that could really get rid of it, honestly. So honestly, if I can get him down to 2 life, which isn't hard when he ramps to take his own, like, takes life to ramp, Zoro can just finish off the game for myself. By himself. And he plays out the Kamazo and then a Searcher. But we also have the 10 drop, and we have Carrot too. We have some decent answers here. Fortunately, not a lot of counter, only 2k and Bardo, but he takes the Luffy Taro off the search. We draw into a Tashigi. We go 5 of life, and then I think we're going to play out the Smoker, just so we can keep our lead ability on. Next turn would be a pretty decent time for Carrot. And also that 7k banish, pretty threatening against Purple Luffy. Again, a deck that wants to take his life to hand to ramp. Hitting banish to deny them resources is pretty rough for them. And we're still pretty healthy ourselves, which is nice. So we rest the Kamazo and we take the hit to life. We get a Searcher Bonney, and then goes 5 at our life. A take. And then we go back to our turn and get in the Cavendish. Seems pretty good. We go 7 banish to life. If we establish the Cavendish now, we definitely probably also play out the Carrot, I think. So I think, yeah, we go 5 for Cavendish, resend 2. Or no, we're at 4 Dawn, I believe. Plus Smoker could be 5. So we go 6 at life. So we go Bonney Searcher. Also looking for an 8-drop kid, I think, in this turn, because I have 3 copies in the build right now. And haven't seen it at all tonight, which has been kind of crazy. Not that it would have really saved me in the second matchup. And in the first matchup, we ended up, you know, getting without it. But, you know, it's a little wild that we just haven't seen it. But then also goes to show that Bonney's mid-range and other top end is good enough. You know, you don't always need to rely on the 8-cost kid, even though it is pretty strong. So he's Gamma Knifing our Smoker. And then because he Don minus, he pops our Bonney Searcher. I forgot because of the Kamazo. So then, yeah, Smoker being 2k power, he just swings into it with the Searcher. We gotta let it go, but you know, getting the Gamma Knife out now means if we did have 8-drop kid, we'd be kind of safe. Although Gamma Knife is searchable off of the Law Searcher, right? Because it is Hard Pirates. So he plays out Luffy Taro, plays out a 4-cost Zoro. And passes back. So we're still pretty healthy, 3 life. We got another carrot, so we got options. But I think here we're probably just going to play down Zoro, I believe. Because now we can... So we go 6 of life, restand 2, because we're hoping to just end the game next turn, most likely. And we go 6, and he takes. If he heals with a Big Mom, could be, you know, another turn. But we have 10 drop to delay for another turn if we need it. He goes 10 at our Cavendish. We rest the Zoro. I'm debating saving it because Cavendish with a 9-drop Zoro is just deadly. And also countering out here just is forcing him to swing big into it as well. We end up taking 1 more life, going down to 2. But we're pretty safe here. He has 2 Dawn up though. And I'm thinking he's got to have 2 Giants if he's leaving up 2 Dawn, right? So at this point, I know we could have gone for game with the Zoro, and getting out 2 Giants would have been honestly not the worst, because that way he has the Dawn -4, right? Which is pretty bad. The next turn you wouldn't have a ton of Dawn to swing with or do much, but right. So we just play out the 10 drop. We leave Zoro standing in case he has a Gamma Knife again to swing into him. So he plays out Luffy, plays out his Searcher Zoro. So he gets a 2k. So he's got a 2k, and you know, thinking that he has 2 Gum Giant, right? So he's got 4 in hand, 2 Dawn open. We go 7 at life, 8 Dawn now, 2 life. So we just need Zoro to kind of get us there. He Gum Giants the 7k. Fair enough. He gets rid of a brick. Get out of what you can, you know, if you know there's going to be like a 14 or a 13k swing coming at you 3 times. Then we go 11 to get out the other Gum. So he's down to 2 in hand though. So we can go 13 3 times with our Zoro, and ends up being enough to take it. Pretty decent, you know, use case for Zoro, I'd say. But again, there's so many times where like the top end could be just interchangeable, right? If we just chained 2 10 drops, right? I think we could accomplish the same basic thing. It was just the fact that he had 2 Giants was, you know, a lot to get through. So GG around 3. Shout out to our 4th round of the night. We're currently 2-1 going against Green Yellow Law, a deck that I think is really fun. We are going first. He plays out, I think just a draw 1, right? Where we go search, top 5, find a Cavendish. And looking at the hand, we have some decent answers, right? Hody is definitely going to help in this matchup with how many blockers they play out. 9 cost can help against Hody. I mean, not Hody. Against their 8-drop kid, if they don't have anything to protect it besides like regular blockers. He swings at our Searcher. He plays out another draw 1. I think is that the mother caramel, right? Like the the lady who kind of raised Big Mom. I think so. So we play out Cavendish, go 6 into her. Just removing the board because, you know, obviously he can recur value from taking that back to hand to play it back out to, you know, draw right from his leader ability, such like that. Obviously it doesn't matter too much as we get into the mid game Don, right? Because he just needs like one Cavendish, which he plays out to kind of activate his leader ability soon or this turn. But also getting that the 10-drop Doflamingo, definitely also a very good option for this. He plays out the Veggie 2k counter to stack his life with a 5-drop blocker Law. But yeah, Law is such a fun deck, honestly. I think it gets a lot more support in set 11, right? So I'm looking forward to it. We rest the Cavendish just to give us something to swing into next turn. He plays out the blocker Law and then replaying that draw 1, right? So here we have a few options. We Smoker. Could have Hodied as well, just to apply more pressure. I thought about it. I might have been able to clear the Cavendish on that aspect, but I kind of wanted to keep the Hodied in hand for like a going for game kind of turn. Then we go 7 at Cavendish, leaving 3 open, 2 for a Rosinante and pass, just to kind of protect our board, right? I don't want to lose my pieces. Being a green kind of matchup, most of the clearing board comes from simply swinging at each other's board, especially once you have the Rosinante down or something like that to protect from like a KO effect. But he just plays out the 7-drop Law, the heal, attach it down to the leader. We rest the blocker, and then I think he's going 7 at life. Okay, so we get a carrot. Pretty good. Again, a deck that plays a lot of 7 costs or lower, so we could keep things rested. However, against green yellow Law particularly, right, since he's able to pick cards back up from board to his hand for his leader ability, you know, it does kind of help him against keeping things rested, right? So he keeps our Cavendish rested with the 5-costed Bonney. Pretty good move. We'll see what we hit. I think I might just drop the Shanks here, honestly. Or maybe the carrot. We go 7 at Cavendish to get some some counter out of his hand. Got a 2k. We go 7 again. So I think I might be just playing out the carrot. Pretty decent, you know, play as well. We stand it done, and then we play out another Rosinante. So, you know, I think we could have played out the Shanks to pop the Cavendish. Might have been a decent play, but we got some good counter out of his hand. And also we're able to establish another 5-cost that can lock down most of his board. We rest his leader because I forgot about Bonney. I'm not going to lie. I forgot about the Bonney there. I was mainly looking at the Cavendish. I was tunnel visioned on that. He forgot to take his Don back off of Cavendish for the turn. But yeah, I think this is a perfect use case scenario, like to show just how strong the 5 costs are in green, right? So as much as you want to protect against play for like an 8-drop kid, I think just playing for your 5-drops is honestly such a strong move. But he plays the 7-drop to heal, and then using leader ability, takes back the Bonney, plays out Bonney to freeze our Smoker. So now we have Cavendish and Carrot out. And now again, we have some decent options. We could play out Shanks, pop the 7-cost, and then keep that Cavendish frozen. But we instead play out the Dofi just to freeze the leader as well, right? So we go 6 of life, restand 2, go 7 of life. No effect on Carrot. I tried to bait out the block 6k on the 5 swing, right? But it didn't work. So we're going over the freeze targets again. So he has the Secret Rare Law and the Bonney to swing with. Probably won't be able to protect too much of our board because we don't have a ton of counter. But even if we lose one target and he freezes another, we would still have 1 swing, 2 swings on board, and leader and Hody possibly to go for game. But yeah, I think a turn I would be afraid of here is if he plays out 8-drop Kid and cheats out the 5-cost blocker law to cheat out a Tashigi, right? That'd be a pretty protected board. I think then we could maybe get away with Hody to rest the 2 to swing into Kid. But it would still be, it depends on how much counter you would have in his hand. But that would be a pretty decent turn to protect your life at this point. But I mean, when your opponent has Hody, he has Hody. And the fact that we have 2 Hody is a little crazy. So yeah, really big swing at Smoker. I think it's 12. We rest the Bonney, and yep, Smoker's gone. So he plays out the blocker law, play out a Bonney, and plays out the blocker law to life, and then uses leader ability to play out the blocker law, taking back the 7 cost. Plays out the blocker law, right? And then I think we were explaining something to a ruling from another card. And then I think he's going to take back the Cavendish, obviously to have some counter. So yeah, we're going back over what we left off on. So he picks up the Cavendish and then plays out a Luffy Searcher. Really good, efficient way to use your Don that turn, man. Like, Green Yellow Law gets such value out of his Don. It's crazy. I love it. So here he's got 3 blockers but 0 life. We just Hody, rest 2 blockers, take a life. And then having the Cavendish obviously is really good. We can go 7, restand 2 Don. Means we can go 7 2 more times, and then like 9 and 10. We go 7 and then freeze the Secret Rare. Because honestly, I think I might even be aiming to keep a Don open just in case. But we go 8 and then yeah, GG. So shout out to my 4th round. We ended up going 3-1 at locals. Really fun. Bonney still pretty strong, unfortunately. Some misplays and, you know, unfortunateness, but some stuff to learn from. And overall, I had a fun time at locals. Set 10 has been really fun. Hope you all have been enjoying it as well. We'll go over the deck list really quickly. So deck list looking like this over here. You know, I've debated and cut between 2 to 3 copies of the Kid, but as you saw tonight, even though I had 3 copies in here, we really didn't see it at all, even with a couple of searches from Bonney, right? So unfortunate, but again, kind of a showing of how strong our mid-range is. And as long as you can get like some of these out and get them to stick and then play out a couple of big bodies, like you're in a pretty good spot. Oh, sorry, wait, we're missing Zoro. Oh, sorry, I had an extra Smoker in there. It's supposed to be the 9-drop Zoro. My mistake, my apologies. But yeah, also some lists just cutting the Zoro. I think 1 copy is fine. Really just ends up helping out in like a green mirror match, I feel like. And because those typically go on fairly long, my strategy for that is, you know, Bartolomeo helps cycle, getting him out early. So yeah, you know, typically the green matches go on a decent long enough that you get a few of your big bodies. And, you know, you've got things like Bartolomeo to help you cycle. Overall, I like the list. I debated also trying out the Rosinante 8-drop, finding space for that. I think you could cut, if you wanted to try it out, I'd probably cut 1 Kid back down to 2. Maybe cut out a Shanks as well, back down to 2. Put in 2 of these. Because again, the 5 costs are so good that having a little bit of protection and also a way to cheat them out always feels nice. Always feels nice. Definitely for starting hand, looking for Tashigi, I think for a lot of matchups feels very important. It feels very important because it's not searchable. Against any removal list, you definitely need this, I think. Right, because you're going to find some of your other pieces. Hopefully you'll be able to find any of your Supernova stuff, being that it's searchable. It's like your Cavendish. Right, but having that Tashigi out is very, very, very important in any kind of removal list. But yeah, let me know what you think of the list of Bonney in set 10. Any of the decks you're playing. This was, I don't normally play a lot of like off-meta silly stuff for locals, but you know, I've got online regional coming up a couple weeks, I think. I think a few people were going to Virginia for that regional, so I wanted to play a more serious deck, I guess. But yeah, had fun, pretty decent. I'm very happy with it. Feels very strong. It's just that unfortunate thing that green always suffers from is removal, right? We have a lot of cards that don't get as much value the turn they're played as much as, you know, keeping them on the board, right? So keeping things on the board has always been a struggle. So you gotta use Tashigi and Rosinante to your fullest advantage, and that's something that I feel like I was lacking, that I want to try to work on. Cutting the Scratch from Napoo down to 3 here for my 2Ks. I think this one is very good in the mirror match, right? So that's why I kept it at 4. If you're expecting a lot of green matches, this Scratch from Napoo is very good for turning off your opponent's leader ability, right? So yeah, some things to think about. 2 10 drops. I like keeping it at 3 if he's not searchable. But yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed. Let me know what you think down in the comments of the list of anything. I was just trying out a Rouge, right? With blue not being as popular, it gives you a lot of opportunities to play this card out. And there's a lot of matches where I feel he does have some use cases. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe, and hope to see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.